Aloha guys, and welcome to episode 3 of Uncut with Kobe and Andrew. And today I am giddy about our guest.
He's probably watching us or something, Niele Patrol.
Niele Patrol, I know.
But today we have ZAVIER Cummings, also known as How's This Guy on Instagram, local comedian, YouTube sensation, still looking for Jimmy Boy's slipper. But he's from Kauai.
Yeah, and he has those characters like Sister Moki, the sheriff.
Did you see his recent one, the Monksio?
Yes, it's so. I tried to find a Monksio onesie to come in, but what I love about his comedy too is that it's clean comedy, so I can show it to my kids, and there's no swearing, and it's for the whole family.
He's so funny.
Yeah, so funny.
Dave, thanks for coming through, man.
Yeah, brother Andrew.
Thank you for joining all the way from Kauai.
Sister Kobe, bro. I'm so stoked to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, I'm like fangirling right now because I watch like every single one of your videos, and all of my friends and even my daughters are like, "You're gonna meet him today, Mom?" I was like,
You have children? Wow.
Yeah, I have 2 girls.
That's great.
Which is also, I was telling Andrew, I love watching because it's like my kids can watch it too, and they can't
like
usually
clean
watch.
comedy. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big reason why it's do clean comedy, because in the beginning it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're gonna
So let's go back to the beginning. So you're from Kauai,
Yes.
from Kapa'a.
Mhm.
So tell us about like growing up in a small town.
Yeah, so where I'm from, on the east side of Kauai, there's my great grandma who my great grandpa farmed the land before. It was all pineapple fields.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think his dad also farmed. So pretty much we own a few acres on the east side of Kauai. So all of the houses, the neighbors in that neighborhood is all my grandma's siblings.
It's all family,
that's
pretty much.
crazy.
Yeah, so that's what you grew up around, right?
So you
It's
grew
all
up with
family in
all your
this.
family
Yes.
and cousins.
Cousins,
All that, yeah.
uncles, aunties, all of them were there all the time. So
Yeah.
it was good. It just super laid back. Everybody's super close with each other, and it goes both ways though. Yeah. So like there's the good and then there's the bad for sure. For sure.
That's where Niele Patrol comes in.
Yes, because sometimes you sit taking one shower and you look out your window and get guys like that.
So you're close with your family growing up. Were you like the funny cousin?
Yeah, I was.
Making everybody laugh.
Yeah, more so. Probably the weird cousin. Yeah, 100%. Because I'm pretty awkward. I mean, you guys. Yeah.
We're all funny.
Yeah, I was always a class clown growing up, but definitely the more awkward, like out there cousin. You know what I mean? And it's funny because things just didn't change, and then now it's like people dig it.
Now you're everybody's awkward cousin.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's your next character. Everyone's awkward cousin.
Yeah. The guy that just stands outside outside the tent in the dark. At weddings, just like, do you want to be here, or are you forced to be here?
Are you forced to be here? Yeah. Yeah.
So you have like, is your dad like? Where did you get it from? I guess because you have like the Fada series.
Yes.
With your dad.
Yeah. So yeah, most of it from probably would be my grandpa. So my dad's dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was always like just a whatever's kind of guy. Like he didn't really care about just fitting in or whatever. He was just the kind of guy like you get what you get, and then you would think that my dad would be like a watered down version, but it was almost like they put more dye in it. Like it got more.
Yeah.
It got more.
Now it's your generation. Not you.
And then I just 10x that.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I probably got it from my grandpa, and then a lot from my dad as well, because that guy is just what you guys see on Instagram. That is every single day and nonstop.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's so hilarious. I love it.
That is like the local like I see
epitome
so
of
like so much of like either my dad or like, because I'm from a small town on Big Island too, and it's like all the dads are like that, just like no shirt. It's just like the stuff that comes out of their mouth.
Speak your mind.
No filter.
Never. Like, I mean, he has a tattoo on his left shoulder. It says class of '88. But I never even graduate. like what?
Class of '88 from where?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or like if I check the record, it's like it doesn't say that you graduated.
That's so good. That's so good.
He has like my mom's middle name tatted on his ankle, but he spelt it wrong. So it's like completely could be a different girl. I don't even know. Kelele turned into kilele.
At the time, it worked.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah. So tell us about like, your journey, like, with social media going on and, like, because then when I met you, you were just starting doing this, and like, it was a crazy story how we met. I was like shooting a thing for Kobe actually. So she wasn't there, but like she sent me out to Kauai and I filmed the thing at the school. And you were just coming up. I was like, oh shit, how's this guy? And then I was like, yo, is that him right there? And like, you're working at the elementary, remember?
Yes.
And I was like, oh shit, can we take a photo and all that? But it was like crazy because it was like,
like what, 5 years ago maybe?
It was a while ago. Yeah.
Yes, I've chicken skinned the fact that you brought that up. You're gonna have to cut into that real quick. But it was crazy because I was just emceeing a wedding for this past Saturday, and I brought up before they the bride and groom cut the wedding cake. I always say like, oh guys, I worked as a custodian for three to 4 years, you know, so if the bride and groom want to get crazy and have a food fight, like I'll bust out my janitorial skills and I can clean this up real fast. But so that was about 5 years ago, and I was working as a custodian at the time. It was at Wilcox Elementary. I've probably at that point when I seen you, because you were there to film the kids got awards. What was that for again?
It was like for HPH.
It was for Hawaii Piece of Health. Yeah, there was a
Ace.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And the two brothers were at the school.
Yes. So that's where me and Andrew first met, and I barely remember that, but the last time you brought him up, I'm like, oh, I do remember on campus by the cafeteria.
This
guy.
You were wearing a big hat too. I was like, I think that's him.
I was like, Pond Frog, the hat.
I was like, wait, is that him? I wasn't sure, because I didn't know your story or anything. So I was like, wait, is that him? Because I would see it on the social media, right? I was like, I think that's him. And then I reached out and like, so
I was a custodian, and that probably was like, even at that point, it was so early on that people wouldn't come up to me to ask for like a photo or anything. So here I am working as a custodian, the youngest custodian in the state of Hawaii at the time.
Really?
Because we had like these safety like conferences, like nothing too big. So all the other schools would come, and like I'm sitting on the table with like 58-year-olds. You know what I mean? They know all the tricks of the trade, like how to work tools and stuff like that. I don't know anything. All I could do is start the weed whacker, and then they'd have to like teach
take over. But how did you even get into that?
I know.
Custodian? So this is hashtag Kauai as why, because my auntie, who is my dad's sister, asked me if I wanted a job, because I was just working at the restaurant at the time. And she was saying, oh, it's a state job. It's, once you get hired permanently, you can switch departments and you can work your way up. And so I was like, I didn't even know what it was. Yeah.
State job? Hell yeah.
Yeah, state job. State, county. Kauai, that's all you got. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
you're in.
Oh, you're in for the long run. Retirement and all of that just keeps changing. So that's how I got the job. When I found out it was a custodial position, I didn't care. So because they were paying like, I think it was like $18.25 an hour.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Kauai boys making noise. I'm like, okay.
We in there.
Yeah, exactly. So and then I was just working there. While I was there, I connected with the kids real well. I would entertain teachers like without even just being on campus,
just being yourself,
being myself. Yeah. So that was interesting, because the principal actually started a program because the kids that were troublemakers or just misunderstood, you know what I mean? They would, like, during recess, they would come in the cafeteria and like help me clean and stuff like that. Yeah. We connected real well. So what ended up happening was the principal made a special program that the only way that they could come and help me during recess is if they like got gold star, like some kind of, they would kind of have to
work for it pretty much.
Exactly. It was more of a reward. And that was super cool, because I was like, oh, wow.
And they really wanted to work with you that bad?
Oh, yeah. They were grabbing mops and dust mops and rags and everything. I'm like, and for me, I'm like, you can help me clean. I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? This is my section. You don't need help auntie over there. Yeah. She's mean. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that was good. And then the principal took it a step further and asked me if I wanted to host what is it? Welcome back assembly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the follow, like for the new year. And
was that kind of like your first
MC job?
Yeah. It was.
Yeah. So the principal pretty much saw some potential and was like, yo, you want to MC this welcome back assembly?
Yeah.
And then how was it?
It was, I mean, it was off the chain. Like, I mean, can you imagine me as is
exactly.
right now rocking with like the kindergarten? No, I have videos. I'll send them to you.
Sick. Yeah,
God, I want to see that.
I had like blonde hair. I mean, it was just, I was a wreck. Like I had platinum hair. Kids would come to school with platinum hair. I'm like,
nice.
I'm like, whoa, I got
Cute.
some real influence here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Super nervous. Like I rewatched that video and my body language was just terrible. You know what I mean? The first.
Well, that was your first one.
Yeah,
Give yourself a break.
Yeah, I gotta do more of that, honestly.
It's like watching film.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But-
cringe.
Exactly. But yeah, so that was kind of my first gig and kind of knocked it out of the park. The kids were super stoked. The parents were there. They were so happy. Like just to see their children's just reaction, you know, like I would even just thinking back, like if I was a parent and I went to that, like one assembly like that, and I seen such a lively like personality on campus, someone that can connect with the kids and stuff like that.
Who was stoked to be there.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was stoked to be there. It's just a job that was kind of getting, that was kind of getting, I was like, no.
So like, you know, from there, you know, that's like the starting, like how did you utilize like social media or what was the point where you're like, oh, I'm pretty funny. I think I should like.
By then you were already starting to do YouTube video. I mean, like Instagram videos?
Yeah, I was. So I think the funniest thing is that like I was never that social media guy. I was never on social media.
Yeah.
So through high school and everything like that, because I started the custodian job probably a year after I graduated. And then I was working there for 3 or 4 years or something. But so in those 3 years, I was working as a casual worker. So I wasn't even
like full time
at all. And the week that I got hired permanently was the same week that I quit. And
crazy. The custodian job.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what my end goal at the time was, because my grandparents were telling me, oh, you know, you have such a great thing going for you. Like once you get in, this is not what's going on. I actually got him too.
You got him too.
Yeah. Look him. He's sore. He's all gone. Oh no. Shoots, where was I?
Your grandparents.
Oh yeah. So aunties and uncles, you know, the whole Hawaii thing, like, oh, like you're doing well, like, you know, this is kind of this is a great thing that you have going. And for me in my head, I'm like,
they're talking about the custodian job, not the social media stuff.
Yeah. They didn't even know
the state job.
Oh
yeah, so they're talking. Oh okay. Yeah.
So
you're just like, you got a state job, you're locked in.
Yes, you're locked in, you're stoked.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, when you're 69, you can, you know what I mean, retire. I'm like,
what?
That's so long. That's too long.
Yeah.
But so that's when I just kind of started making videos and stuff like that. They were catching wind, and it was actually when I started the Aloha News series. Jamie Boy Slippers, the flash floods, and all that.
Did you ever find it?
I'm still looking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you
guys see the slipper.
Yeah, it's a size 14 left side specifically we're looking for.
Years, man. As soon as we find the slipper, it's gonna make the news.
Oh yeah. Oh, I would pay for a spot too. You know what I mean? A segment.
No, yeah, I remember that because then you were traveling to Oahu to do the Aloha News with the news station, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's and this is probably the most pivotal point in my career so far. So I was working. And KHON reached out. They said they seen some of my videos on Instagram. They were super stoked on them. And they had like 11 segments for the Cover 2 series on KHON. They asked if I could be on Oahu like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think so, or something like that. And without even checking the dates, I told them,
yes,
I'm there. Yeah, lock me in. Lock me. If you guys are going to, mind you, they were gonna pay me to do this, so I'm like,
what?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, this is great. They're gonna pay flights, hotel, and all, and just local bradas, like that's something huge.
Yeah, no,
like,
for sure.
You're gonna pay me to be this,
to be me, to do what I love to do.
Exactly. So I told them, I went back to my boss and I told him, hey, boss man. Yeah, I ain't gotta say the name.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, hey, boss man, I got this crazy opportunity to go ahead and host like 11 segments on KHON. For the sports segment called Cover 2 at Rob DeMello, and they were asking if I could be on Oahu Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'm gonna put my request papers in and stuff like that to request off. And he said, you had already exempted all of your, no, you don't have time to take off because this is your first week as like a permanent worker. So all those other hours for some reason was like gone.
Yeah. Oh, weird.
Yeah. So I told him without even thinking, I was like, oh, well, I guess I got to put my 2 weeks in, you know?
Right after you got hired too. That's crazy. Yeah.
No. Yeah. And the reaction was, he kind of like laughed, like not in a disrespectful way.
He thought you were joking.
He thought I was joking. He laughed and he said, what? He said, you just got hired. No one would ever do that, you know? So the conversation kind of ended at that. Did my thing. 2 weeks later, I turned my keys in and I was in his office. I kind of dropped my keys off. I was like, hey, you know, boss, thank you so much for everything. It's been, because me and him were super, like, we're close. He's more of like a friend, if anything. So we always talk sorry like that, but I say, oh, thank you so much for everything over the years. You know, I really appreciate all that you've done for me. And, you know, I'm just excited. I'm excited for what is to come. And he's like, oh, I don't even have your separation. He's like, I thought you were joking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have your separation papers prepared. You know, you can't just like bounce out. It's like, so what had happened was he said, you know what, go take the days, go to Oahu, do your thing. But when you come back, can you please give me 2 more weeks? I said, oh, easy. This is where it's like, it gets crazy. So I'm on Oahu. Me and my girlfriend, Kaveh, I think you've met her. Yeah. So we flew to Oahu to do this thing with Rob. And as I was here, frickin' Max brought on Max, slides into my DM, and
Max
he's like,
Holloway.
hey, Max Holloway. Brought a boy. It's freaking killer. So he DMs me, he's like, hey bro, like I see that you're on a, so we kind of spoke here and there, but that was it. Like it was just DM. So he asked me, I have a couple extra tickets for Major Rager. I see that you're on island. If you want to come down, like, you know, like hit me up. Bro, I'm like, 100%. Not knowing that the day that we were filming was after that day.
Oh.
Yeah. So I commit. See, now I'm just committing to things and I don't even know. Yeah, so if Rob is ever watching this, he'd probably be like, oh, that's why he couldn't get the lines out. You know what I mean? It was a late night that night.
After Major Rager.
Yeah, so what was it? So we booked an Uber, me and my girlfriend, to Kunia Flats.
Yep, back all the way out there. Yeah.
$77 that I didn't have. Town. Yes. That I didn't have. Okay, straight up.
You just quit your job. With the $77 Uber.
Tried to quit.
Yeah.
So went to Kunia, met Max. After that, we were gonna book an Uber back, but he said he was gonna head to town because they were gonna go to the district. Yeah. First time ever I went over there. Okay,
what is that?
You gotta find out. I cannot even explain.
I don't even know what that. Too many nights.
Yeah. Exactly.
So okay.
So we go to district. There's a line, okay, like wrapping around the building. I've never even seen something like that. And we jump on. I'm like, oh, Max, it's a kind of one long line. And he just laughed. He's like, oh no. He's like, we're not waiting at that. I'm like, oh, okay, we're not waiting. Yeah. So we go in. Everything was great. And then afterwards, I don't know if it was you or Evan, someone approached me and asked if I wanted to come back like the following week or something to host it. Yeah. So the following week, I came back. Me and Max hosted the thing. You guys put me up in the Hyatt. And
you never went back to your job.
No, yeah, pretty much.
Sorry, boss. I'm never coming back.
Exactly. After that, and the reason being is because after that night me and Max hosted, I was in my hotel room with his good friend Bird, and he calls me up and he pretty much just says like, oh, what are you doing? You know, when are you flying back? And I told him, oh, like in a few days. He's like, okay, come to my house. Like, you should like just cruise. We should cruise or whatever. So I went to Waianae and then slept over his house, was just cruising, talking story. We clicked super good. Like,
where's the man?
Yeah, exactly. And then the day that I was flying back to Kauai, Max dropped me off to the airport, and I was super proud. He's just so over the top, kind of. It just kind of blows my mind, but because he's like a badass fighter, he's just super cool. But so he drops me off. And then as I'm getting out of his car, I'm shaking his hand. He's like, hey, bro. He's like, yeah, let me know next time you come down. I said, oh, yeah. So I'll hit you up next week because I'm going to be coming back like every weekend for the next 3 weeks. He was like, oh, he's like, bro, you freaking guy. He's like, might as well just move over here. Yeah. And I look at him. I was like, no even act because I'll ship my car. I'll ship my car right now. I'll call my girlfriend because her mom works at the docks. Yeah. So that happened right
Say that again?
Yeah.
Move?
Yeah. You sure? Yeah. Okay, pull my pen out. I'm like, where do I sign? But so and he was serious. So I'm not joking. 4 days later, my car landed. I didn't even tell my parents I was moving. Right, I still live with my parents at the time. So I fly to Oahu and my car's already here, and like I'm staying up here for like 2-3 weeks already. Yeah. My mom calls and she's like, hey brother, like, how you doing? Long time no see.
Yeah, you okay?
Yeah, like you must be busy. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh mom, yeah, I'm living on
I live on Oahu now.
I actually live in Waianae now.
I live on the west side of Oahu.
Yeah, the best side. Yeah, so
it's kind of like snowballed for you and everything,
dude.
In that like 2 weeks
short
span,
amount of time.
Exactly.
So you still work for the state. You never quit. Nah.
Technically, my papers. I don't know.
Yeah, they never separated you.
Yeah, because I didn't actually get a return for my taxes, so I might not have.
Yeah, you still work there.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's so cool. Like,
so
just
crazy.
like one thing happening after another, and like,
bruh.
It's just crazy how like you put yourself in that position and like everything just worked out.
Everything
exactly.
lined up.
Yeah, and I think that's like the one of the biggest things. Yeah, is like that was the first time I had to make a decision that I didn't really know what would come from it at the time. Every decision I've ever made was like I knew exactly what the outcome was pretty much, right?
It was
wake up, go work, and come back home. And then at the time, I was even working 2 jobs at the restaurant. So, but that was just my life for so long. And then just getting out of that in whichever capacity people get out of their normal routines. That's, I think, where the magic happens.
Yeah, getting out of that comfort zone.
Yeah,
bruh.
But that's a leap of faith too, because coming from a small town and like even moving to Oahu, like you said, was like a big deal. So, I mean, was that decision like kind of scary for you, or were you just like nothing to lose, like just try it?
Well, no, it was like super scary for me in the beginning for whatever reason. Like, I just felt like I had everything to lose, which is funny because I really had nothing going on, But I think you just get so accustomed to just being in that rotation. It's like a vicious cycle. You just that becomes your life, and
but it's safe too because it's like you know what to expect.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like
and
feeling that stability and like safe and in your comfort zone.
Yeah. F that. You know what I mean? That's
yeah.
Just and things don't even since then, like things don't, I make a decision, there's repercussions. It's not always like this amazing snowball. Sometimes the snowball breaks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So was there a time, like I've been asking everyone this, like, you see on social media, like everyone's like traveling and all these things, but it's like, was there a time where you're like, oh man, what am I doing?
In terms of like questioning?
A tough time.
One?
Yeah. And like what got you through it?
I think so. Well, I think rocking with Max is super helpful for me in my own, like in my personal life, just because just seeing the dynamic of a team operating at that level, I think so is something that not too many people get to see.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing. But I think 2019, so that was right when COVID happened.
Yep.
But there was nothing really going on in terms of traveling. Even I MC weddings and stuff like that. There were 2 clients that had to cancel. And it wasn't their fault. It was just the venue or whatever it was, right? And at the time, my my finances, like the way that I would spend my money was just horrendous. You know, like.
District nightclub.
Yeah, just kidding. Bruh, I cannot even walk all on a second floor because why am I in Gucci? Like, bruh, I'm, like what? And the thing is, like, you cannot even wear that stuff on Kauai. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it was just a lot of clarity. I think so. Like after I had to refund a couple clients with money I had already spent, right? Yeah. You guys know how working gigs. It's like you better have that still. Or even in my contract, it says that it's non-refundable, but it was just such a hard time for everyone. I was like, you know, but so I didn't have any gigs. Work for Max was pretty, there was nothing really to do because he wasn't traveling and, you know, I was producing his YouTube stuff. So I moved back home to Kauai and kind of just, I don't know. It was a step back, but I feel like it was a step in the right direction in terms of like just getting back to just my life and connecting with my like rekindling the connection with my family, which hadn't been done since
you left.
Since I left, yeah. So just going back and
to your roots,
back to my roots, was super good for me.
Kind of reset, like, especially after all of that. Because coming from Kauai and then working with Max, and I know you traveled to a bunch of places like Dubai, all that stuff. So like,
oh my gosh,
it was just like that shock almost, right? Yeah.
Oh, and
culture shock and everything.
Anybody could ask Max or any one of the teammates. Like every trip, I was like a kid in the candy store, 100%. Like what, camel milk ice cream? Like that's crazy. Japan, you know, like. We got to walk through Tsukiji Market. It just things that I had never even dreamt that I'd be able to experience. I think it was just that was so amazing.
Yeah. I feel like you took everybody with you though, like experiencing things, and like I feel like a lot of people connect to you because you seem so like just you're inviting people to come with you on these like experiences.
Very relatable and like, you know, super funny as well. You know, so it's like how did you like, you know, keep your comedy and all that and still with your social media and everything? Like, how did you build that brand? How's this guy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the biggest thing that the brand is built on is 100% building like a community. One where the community members have the same goal of creating better change for Hawaii, creating a more positive space, a more positive mentality. Like for me and my goal my goal for How's This Guy and just the platform is really to leave people in a better space than when I first, I guess, found them. You know what I mean? I want to create a space where they can watch my videos, or especially when we meet in person, it just energizes me to see people get so stoked on, you know what I mean? Like, cause I don't know. It's just like I was saying, like even when people would come up to me and ask for photos, it was just like, wow. So just seeing that kind of positive impact and just that kind of
how much influence,
it just back to your.
But I was gonna say that's good though that you stayed the same in that way, because even like coming from a small town and then experiencing this big world, and sometimes it's like you kind of get away from like your roots and like where you're from. But everybody that I've like mentioned that I'm going to talk to you, they're like, oh, he's such a nice guy. We met him at the Hilton and he like took time from his schedule to like talk with us, take a picture. Like everybody says that about you.
Yeah. That's so, I mean, it means so much to me, honestly, because I'm going to 100% always feel the same way in that I'm not anything. I'm not doing anything if it's not positively shaping Hawaii. And I feel like I'm nothing without my fans and supporters. I mean, as an influencer, that's 100% the truth. I don't care how funny you are. You know, I don't care where you've traveled or even the levels that you reach. Like, you gotta get right with your fan base and your supporters. For me, that is one 100%. Of the biggest pillars in my brand. Is
absolutely.
I owe it all to them, and the fact that they want to take time out of their day to come out to me, I'm like, every single time, I'm like, this is just crazy. You know what I mean? And like, just
never
to
get used to it.
To be in that position, I'm just super grateful. Like, I don't know, you know, that's just. I jones though about that kind of stuff. It just excites me. Like, and to see that bro, I was just at the, where was I? I was just at the airport, and this guy just came up to me and he's like, hey, he's like, I know you're at the airport, and you know, I hope I don't want to keep you waiting in case you got to miss your flight, but I just wanted to take a photo, this and that. I'm like, oh, automatic.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, easy. And he was just telling me, he's like, bro, like, you don't know how much, you know, you've done for me, and like, and just like you've helped me get to some
hearing those
hard
stories.
Days. Yeah. It just, dude, that kind of impact is just crazy. So for me, that's kind of the way that the brand started. Was I was always that funny guy, to get back to your question. I was always kind of that class clown, but we just started making funny random videos, and you know, I didn't even have an Instagram account at the time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was on Facebook, and it was just so random.
With the news reports, the weather reports,
exactly.
Yeah.
So the first video I ever posted was skanking. Was like a tutorial on how to skank at concerts.
I've seen that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You took notes?
Yeah. Oh no, I could tell she was hot steppy when I first came in here. That's kind of like the brand just started randomly, and then I realized like what the type of value that it had, and just what it did for other people. So the journey from creating content and like where it's taken me and who it's connected me with, and everything, and to where I am today, it's crazy. You know what I mean? And like, right, it's a good vibe tribe all the time.
And it's
like,
and it's just the beginning. I mean, like, you're so young in your career, early in the career, and like, you know, and like, I think, you know, another thing that people love about your brand, like, the betterment of Hawaii, and like, you know, things like the most recent thing, the Monksio thing, you know, it's like, it's so funny, but it's still, you bring it back and you spread a message of awareness, and you know, like, you know, just to be better, and you know,
exactly.
So that kind of comedy, it's so good, and like a lot of people relate and connect with it, you know, and
I really want to take this year, you know, at this point I have a team back at home where we talk. I mean, for one, we're connecting every single day. Every morning we meet at the coffee shop and we talk story, and we flush out ideas. We look through, like, you know, not just, so most of it is like I'll come up with a skit, or I'll see something on Instagram and I want to kind of spin it. And me and my team, what we do is just we figure out what is the best way to or a better way to communicate these issues, right? Like the Monksio, the turtles, the tourists climbing over fences at Akaka Falls, and then giving the local bad attitude. I'm like,
crazy.
And what we found is that humor is the best way to communicate those things. So, which is such a great position to be in for me, because that's where the type of content I'm putting out now, I feel is like that. This is kind of my cream of the crop. This is what I want to be doing. I want to be talking about these hard issues, Red Hill, you know, and all these other things in a very humorous way where people can connect and it can resonate, and so that it comes off as not like from a victim sense, but more of like, okay, how can we fix this sense?
You
just
know, spreading awareness too.
Exactly.
Yeah, laughter does like kind of like level the play. It like brings the guards down, and you know,
exactly.
It's like makes it like more approachable to talk about maybe hard stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. How important is it for you, like coming from a small town, especially like growing up around your family, like how important is it for you to like create content that, you know, like your family or Kauai or Hawaii can be like proud of?
I think, it's super important to me. I think having created content even with my dad kind of opened up a vein, at least in my family, for like, not like, I feel like everyone lets their guard down around us now. You know what I mean? Which is great, because it's easier to connect. We already, from the get-go, we already connect, you know, well. And I think what that does for Hawaii as a whole is like, I'm weird, bro. I'm awkward, bro. I'm so awkward. And it's like, I don't take things too serious. Like, you know, when it comes to business, maybe that's the only thing, but even then it's always fun. I think what I like the most is that it shows people like, hey, it's okay. You know, like if you come as you are.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and that's exactly how my dad is. So.
Class of 88. Class of 88.
Yeah, but got his GED 98.
That's on the side. No, that's so awesome. Yeah, like literally, you blew up because you were just who you are. Yeah.
Yeah, super authentic. People can relate to you. Like locals and visitors too. I feel like people who just move here, like, I'm like, just watch this guy.
Yeah.
Then you understand like local culture.
Yeah, they're either gonna get offended if or they're gonna rock with it.
Resonate with it or not, but I mean,
Yeah.
that can't please everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I just wanted to say, when I first started creating content, it wasn't clean comedy. Yeah, it was kind of just random. But I remember my auntie, Michelle Gonzalez, she told me, we were camping one day at the beach, and she was like, "Hey, Xavier, like, you know, I love your videos. Like, my kids love your videos. Lakia guys are always like quoting your stuff." And I'm like,
oh man.
yeah. I'm like, wait.
What parts?
Yeah, wait. I was like, but wait, but how old are they? They're like, well, yeah, they're like 8 or 9. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And she's like, yeah, well, that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about is, you know, she asked me what my plans were at the time, like in this space. And I just told her, I was like, oh no, it's just for fun, you know, like just kill time. She was like, oh no, I think you're onto something, you know, like I think you're real lively in front of the camera, and you know, you're charismatic. I think you should think through possibly like doing clean comedy, because I think it'll go farther.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, if you want to do this as a career. And I was like, what? That's crazy. But in my head, I'm like, I mean, I'm totally capable of doing clean comedy. You know what I mean? I don't need that crutch in terms of like whatever's. But what that did for me is it allowed me to not stay true to the brand, but I want to welcome everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want parents to be able to watch it with their kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
no, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been great. It's just,
how was that? Because then, you know, earlier in the conversation, you're like, your whole family was like, yo, you got the state job. This is good for you. Like, what are you doing? And then now it's like an auntie coming to you and like, you know, how's your family now? Like, they're like, oh, you know, you.
Well, I mean, they're
always supportive, but like, how was like that for you personally, you know?
Yeah. They're super supportive now. I mean, but still, even then, like, there's still some aunties at like, you know, family parties that come to me like, hey, like, when are you going to get a, when are you actually, yeah. So I'm like, oh, I mean, I don't even know. Cause I really, bro, sometimes I find myself in places and at tables with people, I'm like, oh, this is what I want to be doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If a regular job is going to take me out of this, I'd rather starve and have these, and build these connections. Like that's, so.
Yeah. But they're coming from a different like generation.
Yeah.
Where it's like, get the safety and like provide for your family and
like
buy a
times
house.
were different back then. Too,
Yeah.
And like.
Exactly. And no shit at all. It's just, people support in different ways, and for them, and I think they're coming from a legit, you know what I mean, like a positive space.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's so, bruh, it's great though. Like being with family, the support is unreal. My mom, my dad, sister, and my brother, they're probably like my biggest supporters. My dad in the beginning, when I was gonna quit, you know, I asked him. I mean, and it's so crazy to look back and like contemplate leaving a custodial job. Like, there's gotta
to
be
see
more.
where you can, especially now, like looking at your career now, like,
Bruh, right? Because if I didn't quit, right?
Yeah.
Like,
What if you said no to KHON?
then I wouldn't have. No,
Yeah,
that's
that's how life is.
no,
though.
that's
like
like
chicken
that's
skin,
why.
you know?
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Like, and had I not met Max, I wouldn't have been able to travel to all these places and spend time on Oahu and make connections with you guys. Like, all these
I wouldn't have met you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you got a lot of big brand partnerships and stuff now, and it's crazy to see you everywhere, pretty much.
Yeah, bro. I love being everywhere all the time.
That's awesome. Yeah.
yeah. What's next for you?
We got a lot of stuff that I'm working on back at home.
That's so cool that you got a team now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You're just growing and expanding.
Exactly. And our goal is really to just create and build a community, you know, like I was saying, that changes the way people look at, like, even just the way that they, like, the definition of success or like being cool means, you know what I mean? Like, I would never think I would be like, I was a weirdo in 7th grade. Like, straight, I had one friend.
Wait, like, tell us like about your characters and stuff now. I mean, like, you know, like you have like so many versions of like this.
I was trying to get a monk seal onesie and
Yeah.
show up in that, but that was a fail.
You should have told me I had an extra one.
I was gonna bring you a slipper and pass it.
Yeah. Oh, shoot, I would have ran right through the wall. So excited.
Yeah.
Just one of my favorite characters to play is Niele Patrol.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite sheriff. I think when I get into like that uncle mode, that I it just at that point almost everything is improv for those specific skits. But now we have the seal. We have my weather reporter. Aloha News.
The OG.
The OG. System Moki is looking to make a comeback, but
I was gonna say,
I miss System Moki.
So I'm working on a podcast, actually, like if we want to talk about projects. So we're working on a podcast. I'm just stuck in, what is it called? Analysis paralysis. Where I'm just
thinking too much.
Because I want to do one with just me, right? I want to do one as System Moki where she accepts like live calls and gives dating advice or just whatever kind, just talk story. I want to do one with my dad. Like I just, you know what I mean? So those kinds of things. And we're actually currently working on building a network. That's what I was thinking of not saying, but it doesn't even matter. So we're currently trying to build a network right now, similar to like OC16 or something.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so something, my friend, my business partner, he's kind of just taking me along for the ride. I'm trying to learn as much as I can and be of value, but for the most part, he's the one getting everything set up, figuring out like what types of content is going to be on that, food, culture, travel, all these different things.
Exciting.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Which I'm 100% probably going to have to talk to you guys about. It's just so early stages. But are you guys familiar with Mr. Beast?
Yeah, dude.
Right?
Are you?
That's okay.
I don't know anything about pop culture.
You too.
But the way that he creates content and I feel like shapes even the YouTube as a whole, like he just brings so much, for one, entertainment, but he has so much attention, and what he does with that attention really excites me. Like the way he gives back, the way he helps, and you know what I mean? He has probably the most engaging community and fan base ever, and when he posted that what is it, the Squid Game?
Oh, the Squid Game
I bought a shirt hoping that I would represent Hawaii. You know what I mean? Yeah, I didn't get in, but I know I would have won if I was on that. You know?
Shout out Mr. Beast.
Yeah, Mr. Beast. What a legend. But so that's what me and the team are trying to create. That's what
amazing.
we kind of want to build.
Yeah.
A fan base like that and just bring value in those ways. Just
that's so exciting.
Yeah.
Always stoked for like the Hawaii stories, and it's gonna be good.
There's a lot,
especially like coming from just humble beginnings and staying true to that too.
You gotta stay
still the same.
You gotta stay true.
Yeah, exactly.
Come as you are, stay true to yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well.
Yeah, thank you for hanging out with us, talking story.
Automatic.
We're excited to see all the things that like you're just getting started. Like Andrew said, it's like that's the exciting thing. It's like, man, you're just getting started.
Every time I see something, you post something, I'm like, oh my God, like comment, like, like engage. But it's like
everybody, I mean, my mom knows who you are. Like, and they're
shout out mom. Mama.
She's like, you're going to interview him? She's like, oh, you're going to have so much fun.
Oh, bro, tell her I said mahalos and what's up.
All the way out in Volcano. Yeah.
Oh, long drives.
Yeah, that's where she's from. So she has to drive. I mean, like, she lives in Waimea now, but I mean,
Oh, is that farther? I mean,
no.
Waimea is kind of...
Waimea is far. Yeah. It's like on the opposite side of the island, pretty much. We just went to see him this past weekend, and it's like a couple hours.
Oh, shout out Village Burger. Yeah. Village Burger. That place is action.
It's so good,
No, thanks for spending your time with us, and we're so stoked to see what you got going on.
Bro, thank you guys for having me.
We do have a favorite ask, though.
Oh, what was that?
You think we can get a System Moki on this next, or what?
Oh, 100%.
And if she's not too busy,
No.
We'll take the sheriff too.
Oh, sheriff too.
You guys, the sheriff can come on long as you guys have like good stick tape for my mustache because that thing just keeps falling off.
Sometimes it's kind of crooked. Sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
You should do an episode where it's just like all in different places.
Depending like if it's trade winds, Kona winds, or what.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That's how you tell the weather.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Awesome.
but
Thank you.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Aloha.
Catch you on the next episode.
Aloha.